War Sovereign Soaring the Heavens, Chapter 794. Alright, we'll speak about other things later. The urgent matter at hand is to first deal with these unrelated people. Duan Lingtian spoke to Zhang Xiaoyang as he turned around to look at Kongfang and Xiaofeng. Presently, Kongfang and Xiaofeng had already retreated into the distance, and their expressions instantly sank when they heard Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian actually called us as unrelated people? Zhang Xiaoyang nodded. The appearance of Duan Lingtian caused his confidence to rise greatly, and he didn't have the intention of fleeing any longer. His burning gaze locked onto Kongfang at the first possible moment. "Brother Lingtian, leave this fellow that uses a spear to me. Then leave the other one that's holding a lousy saber to me." Duan Lingtian nodded. "Lousy saber?" Duan Lingtian's words caused Xiaofeng to burst into rage, and he shouted out coldly. "Duan Lingtian, do you really think you can defeat me just because you were capable of stopping Kongfang's attacks?" "Defeat you?" Duan Lingtian started laughing. "Is it very difficult to defeat you, Kongfang?" Right when Duan Lingtian and Xiaofeng were in confrontation, Zhang Xiaoyang had already attacked straight towards Kongfang, and in a short moment, he'd already occupied an advantageous position in the battle. Before two people that possessed comparable ability, the difference of a few thousand ancient horned mammoths was still extremely large. So, Kongfang was practically fighting Zhang Xiaoyang from a passive position. Xiaofeng. Kongfang felt more terrified the more he fought, and he didn't doubt in the slightest that he would sooner or later be defeated by Zhang Xiaoyang if this continued, so he hurriedly sent a voice transmission to seek rescue from Xiaofeng. Xiaofeng's face sank when he heard this, and the origin energy on his body surged out before swiftly transforming into numerous material violet-colored lightning that coiled around his body. The Grade 4 spirit saber in the hands of Xiaofeng, who was like a god of lightning that had descended to the world, shook, and this lightning saber that was covered in bolts of lightning seemed to be ready to attack at any moment. Instantly, 67 ancient horned dragon silhouettes and 4,000 ancient mammoth silhouettes appeared in the sky above Xiaofeng. Besides that, another fierce aura soared from Xiaofeng's body and fused into the Grade 4 spirit saber in his hands, and it emitted frightful coldness. Subsequently, another 3 ancient horned dragon silhouettes appeared in the sky above him. Third-level elementary saber concept. At this moment, Xiaofeng didn't hold back in the slightest and utilized all of his ability. Not only had he completely exploded out with his strength at the second level of the void interpretation stage, the amplification of the Grade 4 spirit saber was completely revealed as well. Besides that, he exerted the first level intermediate lightning concept and third level elementary saber concept. Once the Grade 4 spirit saber in Xiaofeng's hand struck out, it would be comparable to the strength of 70 ancient horned dragons and 4,000 ancient mammoths. The strength of 70 ancient horned dragons. Duan Lingtian was slightly surprised when he saw the phenomenon of the heavens and the earth that appeared in the sky above Xiaofeng, and then he said, "I presume your strength can be considered to be at the top amongst the 10 young geniuses of the Darku dynasty that have come this time." But Duan Lingtian didn't continue speaking. Origin energy coiled and flashed on his body before finally transforming into strands of strong winds that twined around him, causing him to seem as if he'd transformed into a god of wind. In the sky, 30 ancient horned dragon silhouettes appeared before another 20 ancient horned dragon silhouettes appeared. Second level void interpretation stage. First level intermediate wind concept. Xiaofeng's pupils constricted slightly when he saw this scene. Even though he was mentally prepared since long ago, he still couldn't help but feel a wave of shock in his heart when he really saw Duan Lingtian reveal a strength that wasn't inferior to him. How old was Duan Lingtian? Yet how old was he? He knew that when he was at the same age as Duan Ling Tian, he wasn't even worthy of carrying Duan Ling Tian's shoes. Haha. Good, good. Today, I, Xiao Feng, will enjoy the chance of kill a genius in the martial Dao like you. I presume it'll be the achievement I'm most proud of in my entire life. Xiao Feng grinned as the grade 4 spirit saber in his hand shook, causing the ancient horned dragon silhouettes in the sky to start surging. Obviously, he was already prepared to attack. But unfortunately, your dream can't come true. Duan Ling Tian's indifferent voice sounded out. At the instant Xiao Feng was stunned, he clearly saw that another 4 ancient horned dragon silhouettes had appeared in the sky above Duan Ling Tian. At the same time, strands of violet-colored energy had appeared in the material gale that swept around Duan Ling Tian's body, and there were faint sounds of lightning leaping about within it. 4th level elementary lighting concept. Xiao Feng's pupils constricted. The concept Duan Ling Tian revealed now wasn't the slightest bit unfamiliar to him, and it was precisely the lighting concept that he comprehended primarily. This wasn't the end. Subsequently, he saw the phenomenon in the sky above Duan Ling Tian changed once more, and another 2 ancient horned dragon silhouettes appeared once more. These 2 ancient horned dragon silhouettes had appeared separately. 1st level elementary sword concept. 1st level elementary earth concept. Xiao Feng's expression finally went grim. Never had he imagined that not only had Duan Ling Tian comprehended void interpretation concept at such a young age to break through to the void interpretation stage, Duan Ling Tian had actually comprehended another 3 extraordinary concepts. Was this a natural talent and comprehension ability that ordinary human cultivators were capable of possessing? Xiao Feng doubted it deeply. Presently, Duan Ling Tian hadn't utilized a spirit weapon, yet the phenomenon of the heaven and earth already revealed 56 ancient horned dragon silhouettes that coiled down from the sky with an imposing aura that shot into the sky like a rainbow. Once Duan Ling Tian utilizes a spirit weapon, wouldn't his strength far surpass me? Xiao Feng was anxious. Duan Ling Tian, receive a strike of mine. Without the slightest hesitation, Xiao Feng struck out like a bolt of lightning with the intention of killing Duan Ling Tian and getting rid of all future troubles before Duan Ling Tian could withdraw a spirit weapon and accumulate force. But unfortunately, at the instant Xiao Feng attacked, Duan Ling Tian seemed as if he could predict it and dodge to the side. Whirlwind. Instantly, Duan Ling Tian seemed to have transformed into a gale that flashed about high above in the sky. At the same time that he stopped moving, a sword had appeared in his hand, and it was a sword that emitted a wave of terrifying aura. Whoosh! As soon as the sword entered his hand, the gale that twined around Duan Ling Tian's body instantly gushed into it. Instantly, another 30 ancient horned dragon silhouettes appeared out of thin air in the sky beside the existing 56 ancient horned dragon silhouettes. How can this be possible? The scene before him caused Xiao Feng's pupils to be unable to help but constrict. Amplification. An amplification of 100%. Duan Ling Tian was a second-level void interpretation stage martial artist, and when his origin energy exploded out completely, it was comparable to the strength of 30 ancient horned dragons. Presently, by relying on a sword, he'd obtained an amplification of the strength of 30 ancient horned dragons, and this caused Xiao Feng to have an expression of disbelief at the same time he felt exceedingly astounded. Even if it was a grade 1 spirit sword of legend, it would possess an amplification that was far less terrifying than this, right? Exactly what is the sword in Duan Ling Tian's possession? Xiao Feng was afraid, utterly afraid. At this moment, Duan Ling Tian had utilized all his ability, and 86 ancient horned dragons had appeared in the sky above him, whereas, there were only 70 ancient horned dragons and 4,000 ancient mammoth silhouettes in the sky above him. How was it possible to fight when the difference between them was almost the strength of 15 ancient horned dragons? Flee! Without the slightest hesitation, Xiao Feng raised his saber to hang above his head as the material violet-colored lightning on his body flashed out swiftly to envelop his entire body within an enormous lightning saber. OM! The lightning saber tore through the sky and soared up with the intention of fleeing. Want to flee? The corners of Duan Lingtian's mouth curled into a smile of disdain when he saw Xiao Feng wanted to flee, and the quasi-royal grade spirit sword in his hand shook as he executed the 9 dragons' radiant flash with his sword concept, and it transformed into 2 material divine dragons that chased up to Xiao Feng. Swoosh! Swoosh! The divine dragons charged into the sky with a speed so swift, they were even faster than Xiao Feng, who'd seemed to have transformed into a lightning saber, and they chased up to him in a short amount of time. Duan Lingtian, spare me! Spare me! Xiao Feng obviously noticed the arrival of danger and hurriedly pleaded for mercy in a loud voice that revealed strands of misery, and it shocked Zhang Xiaoyang and Kong Fang, who were in a fierce battle to the point of temporarily stopping. Both of them looked up into the sky in unison when they heard this. Under their gazes, the eyes of 2 material divine dragons abruptly shot out 4 extreme flashes that instantly entered into the lightning saber that charged into the sky. In the next moment, the lightning saber shattered and a corpse plunged to the ground. Subsequently, they saw that when the 2 divine dragons dispersed in the air, a violet-colored figure had chased up to the corpse that was falling down in midair before blatantly taking the spatial ring on the corpse's hand. The corpse continued falling before vanishing within the illusory purgatory along with the grade 4 spirit saber in its possession. Brother Ling Tian. Zhang Xiaoyang was completely stunned as he looked at the violet-colored figure high above in the distant sky. Even though he was filled with confidence towards Duan Lingtian, yet never had he imagined that Duan Lingtian had killed Xiao Feng, who was at the 2nd level of the void interpretation stage, in only a short amount of time. How can this be possible? Kong Fang's face was ghastly pale as he looked at the violet-clothed figure in the distance with an expression of disbelief. Even if Duan Lingtian was a 2nd level void interpretation stage martial artist that possessed a grade 3 spirit weapon to rely on, it was impossible for Duan Lingtian to kill Xiao Feng in such a short period of time. Could it be that he's a 3rd level void interpretation stage martial artist? Suddenly, a thought that even he felt was absurd arose in Kong Fang's heart, yet once this thought arose, it was impossible for him to suppress it any longer. Earlier, after Duan Lingtian withdrew the quasi-royal grade spirit sword and utilized his entire strength to kill Xiao Feng, he'd put away the spirit sword right away, whereas, the 86 ancient horned dragon silhouettes in the sky had vanished along with this and wasn't seen by Zhang Xiaoyang and Kong Fang. So they utterly didn't know exactly what had happened earlier. Bang! Outside the inscription formation that formed the illusory purgatory, a corpse that held a grade 4 spirit sword fell down and fiercely plunged onto the combat arena. Xiao Feng. The representative of the Darku dynasty went grim in expression when he saw this person, and he cried out in shock. Xiao Feng. Instantly, a nearby representative of a dynasty looked at the representative of the Darku dynasty with surprise. He's your Darku dynasty's Xiao Feng? Supposedly, this Xiao Feng was already a 1st level void interpretation stage martial artist 1 year ago. Xiao Feng already broke through to the 2nd level of the void interpretation stage 3 days ago. The representative of the Darku dynasty spoke with a gloomy expression. What? Instantly, the representatives of the various dynasties that had aloof expressions because the matter was of no personal interest to them revealed expressions of disbelief. Even Even a second-level void interpretation stage martial artist has been killed. I hope you enjoy the video. Don't forget like, share, subscribe to channels.